All right, what's up, guys?
Hello?
Yep.
1 second. Can you hear me?
Yeah, you're good. You're good.
Okay, cool. Making sure. Working.
Yeah, I see you.
Can you hear me?
Yep, you're good to go.
Okay, 1 second.
Okay, and let me admit the other gentleman. Okay.
All right. We're good.
Oh wow. Okay. All right. Disregard that. All right. So what's up, everybody? This is No Ram the King with the hottest new hip hop platform. The South got something to say. We are again the hottest new hip hop platform, media platform, and we are coming from a Southern perspective. Today we have some special guests with us. Attorneys with Swag. What's up, guys?
What's good? How's it going?
Hey, how you doing?
Coolin', man. I can't call it. Happy Friday, guys.
Happy Friday.
So just real quick, just to do a quick intro of who you guys are. If you'll introduce yourself and just tell me a little bit about your background, and then we'll kind of get into some more about your platform that you guys have built out. So whoever wants to kick it up, we can go ahead.
My name is Eugene Toussaint, and I'm the CEO of Attorneys with Swag. It's a brand that's all about educating the masses with an understanding of the law by making it entertaining and fun. We do that through a show and music that accompanies the show. And we also have a podcast and a blog and a bunch of other stuff.
Gotcha. So you guys have building a full scale platform. Dope.
Exactly.
So and brand, right on. And Everett, what about you?
Yeah, so I'm Everett Hopkins, born and raised in Queens. Currently a criminal defense attorney. Been doing that for about 7 years. I actually, I was born and raised in Queens. I went to college down in Hampton, Virginia, to HBCU Hampton, and played football there for a while. Came back, started to dabble more in some law, and that's what drove me to become an attorney. And then I partnered up with Eugene, and decided that we needed to, being a lawyer is not enough. It's not efficient to help our demographic, because what happens is, unfortunately, we end up representing people after it's already too late, after they've interacted with the police already. So what's the more effective way to try to stop that from even happening is to try to get out, be on the offensive and put our message out there. And these are the do's and don'ts of how you will never have to deal with us as attorneys defending you or deal with the problems the police bring. So that's the whole message behind our brand.
Yeah, definitely tired of being a Band-Aid.
Word. Yeah, I love it. I love what you guys are doing. I think that's super dope. So just to kind of delve a little bit more back into, you guys kind of touched on that already, but tell me a little bit more about, your professional background, what even drove you guys to becoming lawyers in the first place, because I think that's important as well.
So just like Ev, I'm a public defender. I've been a public defender for 7 years, working in Queens. As a kid, I always wanted to be an attorney. It just seemed like a really cool thing to do. It's like doctors and attorneys. It's like pinnacle of success. So I just kept moving with that dream. And once I got to law school, I did things like participate in mock trial. And those programs gave me a great interest in litigating. And one of the best platforms to litigate is to either be a prosecutor or public defender. And, my background of growing up in the Bronx definitely leaned me towards wanting to represent the people I grew up with as compared to prosecuting them.
Dope. So yeah, so you guys are both New York guys. Cool. Yeah, I'm personally from Louisiana. My brand is obviously influenced by the South and Southern hip hop, but we also like to just focus on social issues, social culture, hip hop culture, because all those things kind of tie it together. So whether you're from up top or down south, I think what you guys are doing is super, super dope. So with that being said, man, so tell me more about the platform. Obviously we kind of touched on it already, but what even got you guys inspired to create this platform?
Well, as minorities, growing up in New York City, obviously, most of the interaction you're going to have with starts with police, right? That's kind of what drove me to become a public defender. But aside from that, my dad was a lawyer actually, but he did mostly civil law. So I kind of grew up, helping out in his office and doing stuff like that. So it's not that I was no stranger to the law, before I went to law school, but I had that background, and it always interests me. So but how it is, like whenever I got a nice sports car or whatever, and it was a 2-door, it was fast, so I had tints on it and everything, and so I'm always getting pulled over, getting pulled out the car, searched for no reason. I say I don't consent, they still pull me out the car anyway. So
right.
that type of interaction, like I said before, like our interactions is always going to be with the police first, as minorities growing up. No matter what happens, no matter who you are, no matter how much money you make, if you're Black, Latino, you got some melanin in your skin, chances are you're going to get pulled over. So that's kind of what really started our platform. I mean, it's a vast platform. Like, you know how it is. Like, nobody who's a minority is going to say that they haven't had these experiences. So that's the entire drive behind this brand, Attorneys with Swag, to try to reach people, who have these instances all the time. Just try to, not necessarily tell them exactly what to do, but this is what to expect. This is how they think. This is what they're trying to do when they ask you just a simple question like, hey, where you going? When you answer that question, it's not really about where you're going. You can say you're going to pick up some drugs or you're going home. Whatever you say, it'll be admitting to driving. That's what they want you to do. You know what I mean? Right. So certain little things like that, you know what I'm saying? Like, you got to think the way they think so that you can try to explain people, what they're trying to do. So.
Word. So before you get those Miranda rights read to you, literally whatever you say can and will be used. Right. Yeah. Straight up. Yeah. That's a big if. Yeah. Facts.
Yeah. And like me, I'm personally that anytime I find something, I learn about something that I find useful or entertaining, like something that I know that if someone would absorb, it would better their lives. I'm always about sharing it. And I'm always about like, yo, you should read this book. It's so dope. Or the keto diet or CrossFit, all these little different things. And like being a public defender, you kind of get that energy. Like you're helping people, you're advising them. But what I started realizing is that like, it's not effective. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like a lot of my clients, not necessarily my clients, but you can tell that you meet someone and it's their 8th time going through the system and they still don't understand anything about it. Right.
Right.
Yeah. And sometimes my colleagues aren't bad attorneys, so they're explaining it relatively well. And you just realize that like all these kind of lessons that could make the difference between being able to preserve your rights and give yourself a chance if you are ever sued or if you're ever arrested. These tips and lessons that you should know aren't being absorbed by the people who are going through the system, the people who should know it the most. So right. Attorneys with Swag is the idea is go, okay, well, let's break that down. Why is that happening?
Right. Where's the disconnect?
And how could we give them the information that they need in a way that it can be used for them before they meet us. And that's, before they get arrested. And that's kind of where the genesis of Attorneys with Swag came from. And then I was watching like an episode of, that's kind of like what we used to always talk about. Like, it would be cool if we started like something. And then I watched the episode of comedians in cars getting coffee. And like that just clicked to me. It was like attorneys in a bar having beers and explaining the law that way. You know what I mean?
Right.
Like kind of like that's where the genesis of the show came in. And then, music is so important in minority communities. So that was an easy fit. Obviously, the producer, Garfield Anthony, he's one of my best friends. So adding that to the show concept to reinforce the lessons and make it even more entertaining and more absorbable just made sense. And that's where the music came in. And then from there, we just kind of like kept growing and kept trying to make it, try to put as much information out there in a way that people, by the end of it, if you watch the show and you listen to the song, you see the music video, maybe you read a blog, you walk away far more prepared to be out in the world.
Makes a lot of sense, bro. So you guys kind of you answered some of the question, so I'll just kind of pivot real quick because I want to touch on something that I think is important too, that our communities probably should be aware of. So just kind of dispel, I guess, some of the negative connotations about public defenders, because I've had my history. I have colleagues and friends who they've had their history, and just to be brutally honest, sometimes public defenders kind of get a bad rap, or there's a lot of myths about public defenders. So can you guys kind of speak to that as well?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing when it comes to public defenders that I think if we don't get this out in front, we're not necessarily all having the same conversation, is that
Right.
The quality of a public defender is very much dictated by the budgets that the states and the cities give them, right? So the public defenders so we might sit there and go, oh, public defenders are this, that, and the other, and being very positive in their praise, but we're definitely talking about public defenders in New York City, which are relatively well funded, and that affects their ability to have an attorney-client relationship that has enough time to breathe and do well. Whereas if you're from one town and you're dealing with a public defender that has 500 cases and then only has 20 seconds for you, then obviously that's not gonna be equivalent to the kind of experiences that I'm trying to say any public defenders can give you. So I think that's the first place to start off. But I mean, obviously, like I said, if you can get a public defenders, no one would take that job if they don't mean well, right? And then if they're not trying to help. Right. If they have the tools to help, I think if you can get a public defender that isn't overworked and kind of like all these kind of horror stories that you hear about in like public defenders in New Orleans or Louisiana, which if you can get a public defender that actually has the time, that's probably going to be the best attorney you can get, because that's their entire career. Like me and Everett, where we work at, like we have social workers in our building. We have people dedicated to DNA. So it's like if you get one of us, investigators. So it's like if you get one of us, you're getting someone who's very much committed and very much has a support system that is prepared to defend you. But if you get one of us that's maybe jaded or overworked, then that kind of experience can kind of differentiate. I think the public defenders are great attorneys. I just think what can cause people to have bad experiences is getting a public defender that's maybe not in the right headspace or not in the right work environment. Maybe they're overworked, you know what I mean? So that there's certain things that's out of someone's control. And then when you're just being assigned an attorney, it's like the luck of the draw. But I definitely think that public defenders are definitely some of the best attorneys you can find when it comes to being defendant in criminal law, because that's all they do. 500, you know what I mean? Like thousands of cases in, you kind of know
it's our specialty. It's our specialty. And I think that another aspect, I think, is just that, a lot of times there's, whether fair or unfair, there's a misconception that, relatability, if I can't relate to you, that means that, you're not really defending me. You know what I'm saying? Like, like obviously, call a spade a spade. Like, there's a racial difference, right? You have a white, attorney, whether it be male or female, and he or she's talking to like a black client. I'm speaking in, the way I normally speak, but, for some reason she's not understanding me, or he's just, looking at me kind of crazy, that could already just set the tone, that this is not going to be a good client relationship. So, there's always that aspect. And, listen, white colleagues, they gotta navigate that, right? They gotta, figure out ways to gain that trust of people who are not white. It is what it is. But also what I do find that is helpful, a lot of times when you do this job for too long, you start to really reflect on what can help you maintain your sanity, your mental health, what can help you to be more efficient at your job. And a lot of times what ends up happening is that you start to turn down the amount of communication to certain clients, right? Because you're trying to focus on ways to do your job more efficiently. And so obviously you're not communicating much with your clients. And I think that you have to be careful of that and make sure you continue to communicate with your clients, because I find that just taking those extra 60 seconds to just talk about the most basic fundamental thing that you always have to constantly explain over and you get sick of it. But that's that person's first time experiencing it. So you have to still make that effort to make sure they understand what you're doing, what your thought process is, and how to go forward in each case. It's time consuming. It can be annoying, especially after you've done it for decades, but you got to do it to maintain that attorney-client relationship. That's the most important thing.
Man, thanks for touching on that. That makes a lot of sense. And I think the good takeaway is like everybody's not all bad. Everything is case by case scenario. So it's good and bad. Cops, good and bad. Lawyers, public defenders, doctors, barbers,
Absolutely.
whatever. So yeah. So yeah, thanks for touching on that, guys. So just kind of getting back to the brand and the purpose of the brand. I was digging through, kind of doing my due diligence, and I ran across something I found interesting as well, and that's the 3 pillars of understanding. Am I saying that correctly?
Yeah.
So can y'all kind of just go over that? Because I think that really speaks to the purpose of what you guys are hoping to accomplish with the platform here.
Yeah, so it kind of goes to what Gene was saying before about how we decided to mix music into our show. The 3 pillars are basically writing, discussion, and musical composition. Because if you have those 3 pillars in whatever you're trying to learn, chances are you'll learn it a lot more efficiently. You'll understand it and be able to apply it more to your daily life. Hold on one second. Huh? So basically, the writing portion of what we're trying to do is, we're trying to get more into the blogging, where we can have, where we can blog more about certain laws that happen or whatever it is that's current at the time. If it touches on laws or if it's just a current event that needs, to be spoken about, or whether we have other legal experts, write, certain blogs about current events. But something like that, where if you read it, you make you curious and want to learn more about it. The discussion part, which is the second pillar, is obviously the show, right? You see us on the show, we're talking, we're coming up with, different type of scenarios, real life scenarios that could happen. Some of our personal experiences, it's the show is very, if you've seen most of it, like it's very candid, off the script, relaxed. Obviously, we're drinking, we're having fun, and we're talking about the law. So it's very laid back like that, and it's relatable, And then the third part, which I think is actually the most important part, is the music, right? Because music helps you commit things in memory. That's how people memorize lyrics. You hear a nice beat, you want to keep hearing it over and over. So music is crucial to memorizing certain lessons, no matter what it is, whether it's ABCs, Sesame Street songs, whatever it is, it doesn't matter who you are. If it's musical, you'll memorize it. So I think, having those 3 basic principles in anything you do will help your audience understand what you're about, what lessons they need to know, and how to apply it to their life. So that's really what the 3 pillars is kind of, grounded in.
Yeah, and the special sauce is just making it entertaining, because I feel like too often things that are important is like, all right, it's important, you put it in front of someone, but you forget that we're in this day and age, we're being constantly bombarded by information. Not all of it necessary to remember, but it's still being bombarded. So our bandwidth has been shortened.
Right.
And, people remember and can memorize things that they enjoy, things that they're engaged in. So why not make important life lessons or things, your rights, or how to do your taxes, or like things that are like involved in going to trial? Why not make it entertaining? That's our hope, is that the brand will take these things that when you hear about it on a normal circumstance, you're kind of like, what are they talking about? They don't get it. But if if you can learn about it in a kind of long conversation in which there's a lot of examples, but it's also entertaining and funny, it'll stick.
Okay, dope. Man, off the record, I might need to holler at y'all because I have some. I did check out like the LLCs versus S corps, and I had some good takeaways.
There you go.
So we're gonna chop it up for sure. Yeah. But before we get into the project, because I know that's why we're all here to discuss the single and the upcoming project that you guys are about to drop. Just out of curiosity, again, it's a hip hop media platform, so you guys are obviously into music. So I'm just curious, what are your musical influences?
Oh, man, I wasn't even prepared for this. I think it's my musical background is from when I was in second grade. I started playing all different types of instruments, like violin, piano, trumpet, saxophone. Then eventually I got to high school. I played the trombone. Then I played the tuba. I play drums in my church and everything. So like I love like almost any kind of music I'll sit down and listen to. I'll give it a chance because I just love music in general. And then obviously with the hip hop culture and everything, that's just a no brainer for me. It just like whether it's like as we were making this album, like I didn't really want to actually spit lyrics. I didn't want to spit bars. I didn't feel that was going to be my role. With Attorneys with Swag, it just didn't. I could, but I didn't want to. I wanted to be more in the camera and talking on the show and writing. That's what I like to do, talk and write. Obviously, that's why I'm an attorney, right? So, but then, it just some things happened where, I don't know if it was the music that, Garfield Anthony was producing or whatever it was. And I started to get inspired. I just started, writing down certain things that rhymed. And, I heard other, underground artists, spit their bars and freestyle like that. That's dope. And, I just fell in it, slowly but surely. And then here we are, like, what, a year later? And, we got a whole album out with me and, all of us on the tracks. It's just, it's dope, man. So, music is just in general is inspiring in on all levels, all types.
Word. Yeah, I can definitely relate to that, man. I used to play the violin too.
See, I feel like that's what they do. In second grade, they throw everybody a violin, a flute, or something, So
I got the flute.
I think I started in fourth. I'm a small guy, so I wanted to play like a horn or something.
Right.
And I think I had to wait till the next grade to do that. So then I wanted to play a cello, and I was little, and yada yada yada. I ended up on the violin. So yeah, I can definitely relate to that. I played a bunch of instruments, and that's kind of where my platform, and my love for music kind of stemmed from. What about you, Eugene? Did you want to, add about your musical background or inspiration?
I think Ev said it mostly. I'm definitely on a track. I'm actually I did a chorus on Deductive, but my musical background. I mean, I love music. I love old school music. My favorite rapper back in the day was DMX. Then I used to love DMX. So I mean,
old school DMX, man. For real.
Old school DMX, yo. This music that just moves you. I think that's what I'm connected to. I love music that like you can really feel the energy and you can feel the passion in their lyrics and that they really are trying to get their message across. And I think that's what makes me passionate about our project, is that you can the songs have serve a purpose. They have a purpose.
Right. Word. And I just last thing that influenced me was also Eminem. Like I big Eminem fan. The way he spits, the way he raps, and everything like that, and his longevity has been super inspiring. So I try to think of him a lot, when I'm.
Yeah, man. Y'all naming some of the ghosts out here, bro. Do y'all have like any favorites as a like new age, whether it's as I guess as recent as a Kendrick or maybe even more modern, like a Roddy Ricch or something like that? Y'all get into any of the new guys?
I love Kendrick.
I just a little bit. What I will say is that I mean, I think it's kind of obvious, but maybe not. But like, I think like it's more nowadays. It's more about the music itself, like the beats, all of that stuff. And I think like that kind of really what turns my attention to it now. It's not so much the lyrics, where as in earlier it was more so about the lyrics. So I would definitely say like a Kendrick, Drake, even Drake, because he's good. He's been good. But I think that Drake is definitely the one I'm most comfortable as the most recent one. Like I say that I would rock with the most. But other than that, J. Cole, big Nas fan. Stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Like, because I think I feel like when I started going to Hampton, that's when I kind of heard more of the Southern music. You know what I mean? And and I really got into that, playing, we was playing football and everything, so you got to get hype and everything. So, we listened to Little John, the East Side Boys, Bust Your Head and all this other stuff. So it was hype music, it was party music, Little Scrappy and everything like that. That kind of got me into, the Southern music, and that opened my eyes to a whole nother, I guess, genre of hip hop that I didn't really know about being up north. Then when I came back up here, it seemed like it had taken over, like it made its way up here, and then like music from then on started to change to like having more bass in the beats, more like party music and just a catchy hook. So that's mostly it's like the old lyricists is what I'm really more of a fan.
I dig it. Yeah, it's I mean it's some and we ain't got time to get into all that. But yeah, it's some dope newer guys too. So I mean, like everything else, music does evolve. So, but yeah, I definitely can relate to the throwback Lil Scrappy, Lil Jon and East Side Boys era that was wild times back in my youth.
Wow.
And Eugene, I think I heard you say you like Kendrick as well. Do you have any other, I guess, new guys?
Kendrick and Drake. Definitely love Drake.
Okay. Yeah, I rock with Drake, man. I'm not gonna misuse my platform. Drake is dope, but I like rapper Drake. I'll just say that much.
I feel you.
Yeah, I like the rapper Drake. All right, so dope. So okay, now is the big time that we get into while we're all here. The new single dropping on when?
April 2nd.
Okay, and scream the name of that single out. What's the name of it?
Deducted.
Word. Okay, so tell us about that. Obviously it's dropping on April 2nd, but yeah, just kind of give us the intro to how that even came about.
So basically, part of our motto, like you said before, the 3 pillars, is to So we did the show, Attorneyswithswag. We were able to get 4 episodes in before COVID cut it short and made it very difficult to film. And part of that motto is that every episode has a song connected to it. And Deducted is a song connected to our business deduction episode. That was all about what deductions you can take as a business. And obviously the point of deductions is to get more money back when you file your taxes. And that's what the song is about. The song is all about deducting it and just that, and the purpose of doing it and why you should do it and how it is a mechanism that can be used to make going into the business world a little easier and a little less stressful, because you spend money to make money, but even if you were not to make money, you can deduct it and you're going to get a portion of it back.
Right. Yeah. Because I mean, listen, like it's taxes, right? Everybody hates talking about taxes. They're not fun. It's not entertaining. It's not sexy. But like, we tried to at least make it entertaining and fun, which I think we did that, especially with this song. The show was definitely fun. The music video was a blast. Like, I can't wait for that to come out, because that's kind of like a whole big party thing. So
when's that dropping?
Same day, April 2nd.
Okay.
Everything come out April 2nd, 7 p.m. So we just hope that everybody loves it as much as we did. Like, this is our first big debut single coming out with a music video. We put so much work into it. So we just really looking forward to the world seeing our vision, man, and seeing what we can be.
So y'all about to flood the streets in a very positive ways. That's dope. So with the the single, is that leading into the project, or?
Do you mean the album?
Yeah.
So it's off the album that we have coming up as well. So like Gene said, most of the album is going to have connection. It's going to be connected to episodes that we did. Not all the songs on the album are going to have an episode to it, but like definitely each episode will have its own song on the album. So they're all going to have like lessons and legal things in it.
Yeah, we have a song about we have songs about trials, and we have songs about car stops, and we have a bunch of songs.
Oh,
he went out.
Yeah, my man froze. He was so excited, he froze up on us.
It's a whole bunch of songs. We got a whole bunch of things coming out. On all the topics we talked about, and some that we didn't. So
Okay. What's the name of the album? What's
the album will be named Primus. So we don't have a certain date yet when it's going to come out, but it'll be named Primus.
What does that mean?
Basically, it's like, first in time, Primus is spelled like the Latin way. So Primis. So yeah, and hopefully we'll have the album art and everything ready to come out at some point. So we're just trying to figure out where each song should go and, stuff like that. We'll probably be releasing another single as well after, Deducted takes off. So hopefully it's all downhill from here,
Word. So where can people, tap into Deducted and your other project?
Hey, my bad. Lost. Not sure where that cut out, but
yeah, I pretty much finished up and gave the album name and stuff like that. And what was the question?
Yeah, my bad. So I was asking, where can people, tap into the single as well as the upcoming project, Primus?
Everything's going to be on our website, attorneyswithswag.com.
Okay.
We have website, we have IG, Facebook, Twitter. It's all attorneyswithswag.com. The only one that's slightly different in terms of finding it is the YouTube, which will be youtube.com/attorneyswithswag.tv. But obviously, if you look up Attorneys with Swag, you'll be able to find it.
Yeah. And it'll obviously the music will be on all streaming platforms, Spotify, Apple Music. So hopefully we'll be hard to miss,
Word. Yeah. Okay. So lastly, you guys got the web series, you got the blog, you got the music coming out, videos to the music coming out. Do you have anything else that you highlight, or any other upcoming events, projects, anything else that's going on that you guys be doing?
Yeah, we're also bringing back the podcast. The podcast was our solution to COVID. We wanted to keep bringing the energy and the kind of like wisdom that we thought we had to speak about. But we created like a extremely less formal version of the show, in which we're kind of talking more about what's going on day to day, current events, the way COVID was changing laws. Obviously, the summer we had with George Floyd and stuff like that. So we're bringing that back, and we hope it's going to have the same effect it was having before we took our hiatus to focus on finishing up the album.
Right. The podcast is called The Jury's Out by Attorneys with Swag. So
Jury's Out. Okay.
Yeah, that's also on Spotify streaming, and we're on Anchor as well.
Nice. So yeah, so y'all are doing it all, bro. That's like I said, super dope. I love the idea behind the platform. I think that you guys are definitely gonna be big. So definitely glad I'm kind of early on this, and hopefully we can keep our relationship going. Maybe do some collabs or whatever.
Absolutely.
Definitely.
And yeah, man, this was super dope. So again, this is No Rap the King. Attorneys with Swag. Give y'all social one more time, or all your platforms out one more time.
Attorneys with Swag. So just everything, Twitter, on IG is Attorneys with Swag.
All one word.
On Twitter, I think we have to be a little shorter, so it's Attorneys W Swag. Facebook is Attorneys with Swag, and then YouTube it's Attorneys with Swag TV. At everything.
Dope. And again, it's your boy No Rap the King. Follow us on IG at The South Got Something to Say. And that's spelled DASOUFGOTSUMPNTOSAY. YouTube as well. This will be going up on our YouTube channel. So yeah, tap in with my boys here. That's your time. We'll definitely be in touch.
Thank you, man. Appreciate it.
All right,
Thanks.
Y'all be easy.
You too.